Horns and high fives, all you heavy metal cats and kittens. It's the Louisville Blood Queen Athena checking in from Amplified over here, connected to Portal. And I'm super excited because I have a special guest in the store today. This is Eddie Gobbo from Something Is Waiting. These guys are amazing. They're from Chicago, and you guys like to come down and play in Louisville. I mean, it's Metal Monday tonight, and this is what, your third time in like a year?
Yeah.
Metal Monday?
There's a reason for that, which is we do love playing Louisville. We are based out of Chicago, and it's literally a great city to hit, either coming back or going to places that we play. So this week we had to go out to a fest in Atlanta and play that. Last night we were in Asheville, North Carolina. So it just made perfect sense to hit Louisville on the way back up to Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
we're like a good stopping point for you guys.
We do
along
two
the
things,
way.
which is like Louisville and Madison, Wisconsin are always kind of our go-to spots for connectors because we have to go up to places like Minneapolis a lot. And then going down south, it just makes perfect sense. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's a great scene here as well.
Yeah. Oh,
and this is a killer shop you guys have here. So just shout out to that right away.
Well, thank you very much, man. And I'm super hyped to have you here in the store for sure.
I'm hyped to be here.
And we are carrying Something Is Waiting in the store. Matter of fact, I had some and I already went through all of it, and so you're gonna have to re-up me, while you're in town.
Score.
So.
Love hearing that. We'll take care of it for sure.
Hell yeah. So you guys can find Something Is Waiting in the store here at Amplified. I highly suggest, if you're not familiar, go to Bandcamp and
Sure.
Spotify.
Our main thing would be our Instagram, definitely Bandcamp, definitely Spotify. You can find us anywhere, Apple Music, across the board.
Awesome. Now, I do want to just get a little bit of a backstory of you guys.
Sure.
How did the band come about?
We actually, and I love having this conversation right now. Today, just by chance, happens to be the 9-year anniversary of the band. We've had 3 LPs in 9 years. We've toured a lot. We played our first show 9 years ago today at Reggie's in Chicago with a band called Buried at Sea and a band called the Atlas Moth. And it was at Reggie's, like I say. It was Sweet Cobra also played, who actually plays Louisville a decent amount. But we developed this project out of all of our bands were kind of ending around the same time at that point, and we decided we really wanted to do a band that was heavily influenced in noise rock, grunge, but also had kind of an 80s metal attack to it. What I mean by that is bands. This is at least my perspective. If you talk to any of the members of the band, and we're a 3-piece, they'll all give kind of their own takes. But mine, I wanted to hear bands like Guns N' Roses influencing bands again, Skid Row, all that, like Wasp, all the full tilt 80s metal stuff. And then heavily wrapped up in what I considered to be like the noise rock scene, bands like Helmet, Jesus Lizard, almost like a little bit of garage rock too.
Yeah.
And then we combined everything, and then organically, just because we were such metalheads, the more metallic vibe came in the mix as we started to evolve back to kind of a metal band, and that's how we started. We all go way back though, and it was just I had been jabbing with our drummer Iden Alexander since we were in a high school band together, and we did a lot of stuff, and then we just parted ways, and he got in a very serious band that toured Europe and toured a bunch, and then I was also in a band that did that. And when everything kind of lined up, and then again we were like, let's do this, and we actually started as a 5-piece. We still work with the other members of the band that no longer are in it, because our original guitarist Pete Grossman engineers all our records. Our ex-bassist, who's also named Eddie, he does the layout for our records, and our guitarist Bill has basically been there from the beginning. He missed the first few shows with us, but then he joined up, and that's kind of what we've been doing ever since.
Oh wow.
And then the other thing too is this, which is at the same time, which is very, very common with a lot of bands, when we started the band, we also had like other side projects going on, and those slowly started to fall away, and we started to focus on this one more. So I guess we had a different level of focus that came in as the band got older. At the first couple of years, we were just doing gigs, and then it started to branch out with touring and that whole thing, and then we started taking it more seriously, and here we are today. So.
Hell yeah, that's amazing, man, and congratulations on it being your anniversary.
It's awesome. It's a great
super
coincidence.
Cool.
There's a reason for that, which is I remember that show was the night before Thanksgiving, and we're almost at Thanksgiving right now, so it's always around that time it becomes the anniversary of the band. Yeah. So 9 years ago.
Fucking rad, man. Yeah, congratulations.
I think also what's funny is we haven't, since being in the band, except for the pandemic, we haven't missed a night before Thanksgiving show period. It's always the best time to play. And this year we'll be in Madison, Wisconsin for it. So yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A little traditional thing for you guys.
It's just a great night for like parties and stuff, and like people go out for it. It's like a big heavy metal holiday almost. So yeah, we'll be.
Thanksgiving, the heavy metal holiday. You heard it here first.
Night before Thanksgiving.
That's great. That's awesome. Oh, that's a great tradition to have too, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. And so, are you planning on a new album coming in 25, or?
We are. We're actually, but it won't be a new studio record. We are working right now, and we're gonna get all the details straight. We have a live record that we recorded.
Oh.
And it was an idea that kind of stemmed from, I remember growing up and I loved particularly those 80s bands I mentioned. When they would put out a live record, it would be like a big deal. And the ones that influenced me the most would probably, my favorite record of all time, it's like a live record, would probably have to be either the Pantera one, Live 101 Proof, or Slayer's Decade of Aggression. Like that big double disc live record was a huge deal.
Yeah,
and then it was the Motley Crue one, all that shit. I just love the vibe of a live record. Seeing a band live for me is the most important thing. And I wish people would, I meet individuals that are like, yeah, I love this band, but they don't travel to go see them because it's like, well, it's inconvenient or whatever, I have to drive an hour or something. I'm just like, it's all about the live show.
Yeah.
And the record is a vehicle to get people to the live show. So people have to really respect a live set. And I always have, and I love live records, so that's in the works right now, and that'll be the next thing in 2025.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm also a big fan of live records because Dre and I both are really into live music and watching the bands, and we do drive and go to see them too.
That's awesome.
Like that's one of our passions in life too. That's actually one reason I opened this store. It's all about supporting the bands, and that's why I'm doing everything in here is underground, independent, small label stuff, and it's to, like you said, get their sound out there and get them out to the shows. And because I also promote shows a lot as well, as you probably noticed and stuff. So,
and then also it's the best, which is when you have, I'm looking at Dre right now wearing a Beast in the Field shirt. That's an amazing band that actually I played with 15 years ago, and I remember them. They came up in conversation with our band recently. We were just talking about bands from, I believe, the Michigan area because we're going back up there. And we're like, that was such a badass band. And I remember the first time I heard bands from Louisville, like Coliseum, come out. And I was like, saw them in Chicago when I was 16 years old. And that was the first time in Chicago. And I was like, this is mind blowing. It was the perfect mix of like post-hardcore and Black Flag. And it was all about getting in on an underground band, doing something cool. And without record stores and people that do what you guys do, it doesn't catch steam.
Yeah.
It's always like, it's much slower of a grind. And that's what I've always loved about shops like this and people that do that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's a vessel to help everybody, and our community, like the scene, especially metal. With this being an all metal shop, it's I wanted to focus on that really dirty, gritty underground part of metal too, and that's collecting the cool T-shirts and that kind of stuff too, and having that kind of stuff ready available. So if you don't make it to the shows, I might have some of it in store, and you don't walk into many record stores and get that,
Not at all.
And so that was another reason why I really wanted to carry your stuff in here as well, and have you as part of this as well. So again, I'm just super happy that you guys are here and that you like coming to Louisville and that you're giving me some shit for the store.
Love it.
So
we love it too.
That's amazing.
When it comes down to it, heavy metal, like no other scene, is one that revolves around tangible products, like a T-shirt, like an LP, and that will never go out of style. I mean, if you go to my house, I have a collection of vintage T-shirts of rock bands this wide, and it's just huge, and I love it. And then I sell some, and I get some new ones in. My vinyl collection's vast, and it all tells a story in a way. And also when it comes down to it, what the coolest thing is, it's, shit goes out of print and then they have to reprint it. But if you were there when you got that initial pressing, it means something.
Yeah.
And I remember buying certain LPs of bands at the gig before. I love more than anything getting in a band that's great on the ground level. Because it's like, keep your ear to the ground, be a good music fan, and when you find something that works, it's like you're part of it. You're part of spreading the word. And I've always been, actually have a bad habit of just yapping about bands that are awesome. I can't shut up about some bands. Because I'm just like, everyone needs to know about this band. And I usually have about 10 bands in mind at all times where I'm like, this band is doing something so great, you need to drop everything and see them.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you could tell that to a person and they still won't do it. And it's just like, what are you doing? I'll pick you up. Let's go to this show.
Let's
Come
go.
on.
That's right. Let's rally, man. Let's
Yeah,
rally.
totally.
Keeping it heavy. And that's awesome. Well, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. You got Metal Monday tonight. I know you got to boogie back over to Tap Room. So, Eddie, I just want to say thank you once again. Thanks for filling us in a little bit about your history and what's going on with your band and everything.
Totally.
And it's been a pleasure. And thank
Pleasure
you so
talking
much
with
for
you
being
guys.
here.
And then also, when it comes down to it, thanks for doing this shop. Thanks for all the support. And thank you guys for watching this. And support this shop if you're in Louisville. And support all the shops that are around this great little, what do you call sort of this thing? Art
They
space?
call it Art Portal.
Art Portal.
Is what they call
The
it.
venue
Yeah.
portals here.
Yep,
Which
absolutely.
is awesome.
Right behind us is the stage.
So badass.
So, yeah, and then out here, yeah, you got Shane's Tattoo Shop, you've got the Shibari Girl, you've got the new Heavy Meta Gaming back here, some recording studios, a beauty salon, a bookstore. I mean, it's loaded in here. It's
When we
awesome.
go on the road, we do nothing but wake up and then go to the city and just hit stores like this. If we didn't arrange coming here, we probably would have organically found it and came to the shop. So it's really, really cool. Like that's what we do. And we hunt and we buy stuff, and actually our van, we have like a running joke just to wrap up, which is we'll have a bunch of space in our van when we leave for a run. By the time we get home, it's like just packed with like shit, like just records and t-shirts, anything we buy under the sun, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's what it is. And then we bring it back home. We're like, oh, we found all these amazing gems. That's part of the fun of touring. So.
That's amazing. Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you got to stop in for sure, man. Thanks
Cool.
again.
Thank you guys.
Horns and half fives, man. Keep it heavy, Louisville.